So, in this video, we're going to talk about the most broken commander from Final Fantasy that no one even talks about. There's no other commander that's even close to this guy. But if you don't know who it is, we're just going to go ahead and talk about him. It's your boy, the Wandering Minstrel. Yeah. I know. He seems like a gimmick. 5 colors, doesn't really do much. But there's a kicker. You see that first line of text that's on the card? Lands you control and they're untapped. That's what makes them broken. So in this video, we're gonna go on with my list, some of the cards in my list that I built with this guy, and let me tell you, he does work. So let's go ahead and get to the list. Like, comment, subscribe, and hope you enjoy the video. Now, of course, we see the commander, the Wandering Minstrel. He is simic colors, green, blue, with a 1/3 body. Lands you control and they're untapped. Now, the rest of the text really doesn't matter, but there will be some instances that we do trigger the ballad and we get the elemental. And sometimes we might just go ahead and use his Wooburg in 3 just to punch through a little bit of damage. Because, I mean, you run 3 towns +3/+3, yeah, it might seem like a lot for 8, but you'll see where we're going with the deck list. Now, this deck list is going to be slightly different. I'm going to go over the key cards that make this what it's supposed to be, kind of add your own little spice from there. So, first of all, we're just going to talk about the creatures. Now, most of the creatures in the list are landfall oriented, some utility creatures. We're honestly going to talk about both. And I feel like he's one of those commanders that he could honestly be a melting pot or however you want to build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, you got me. AC has to go in here. Additional lands per turn, landfall, draw a card. Really can't beat it. Ancient Green Warden, playing cards from the graveyard. You know what it does. We'll fire through the list. Avenger is in the car. Keep this card in mind. If I have to choose a landfall creature to be a staple in this deck, it has to be this guy. And you will see as we go through some more of the cards. Creates a lot of plants, buffs your plants from landfall. Don't worry, he gets the job done for you. Azusa, Lost but Seeking, very straightforward. 2 additional lands, we want it. Conduit of the Worlds, lands from the graveyard. Corsair Crewfix, once again, playing lands from the top and gives you a little bit of a life cushion as well. It does give your opponent some information, but honestly, with this build, we really don't care. Dryad, the Elysian Grove, playing additional land per turn. Lands you control every basic land type in addition to the other types. Now, making all your land types every basic land type is going to be very good for this deck to kind of smoothen out some of the mana land issues that you can run into. But honestly, I haven't had any issues with it. Village Retreat, you're going to be always choosing to make a whole bunch of tokens with this deck. Anytime a land drops, we're making a white cat. We want creatures on creatures on creatures. Genomorph Amago. Now, I didn't know about this card until last week at my LGS, scrolling through the shop box, and I saw this card. He's a 1/3 with flyer, simic colors. Landfall, whenever a land you control and its target creature has base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. Not too bad. But then it reads, if you control 6 or more lands, that creature has a base power and toughness 6/6 until end of turn. Now, that's pretty crazy. Now, you think about Genomorph paired with Ancient Green Warden, you get 2 triggers of its landfall effect. So let's say you have 6 or more lands, you can make 2 target creatures 6/6s. That can be your commander, that could be something that has flying. You get where I'm going. Card is pretty solid. Next addition that I added was Hearthhole. the World Seed. Now, a lot of people have been running this guy as their commander in some decks, but he's very, very good because we're going to have a lot of creatures on board. And chances are we're not really trying to swing too much early game. We're just kind of trying to establish a board, get as many lands out as we can. But then sometimes we want to sack lands in order to draw some cards and get some value and play an additional land per turn. And of course, we run things that get lands back from the graveyard. So we're just going to be netting card draw and recursion. And then this +8 is really good as well. Once it becomes a creature, flying, vigilance, and haste. Whenever you sack a land, each opponent loses 2 life. Now, we like where this is going because we get a slow drain around the table. And then as the late game approaches, we're going to put a little bit of work in. Loot, basically we have it here, additional land, but we will use his ability every now and again. We're kind of just seeing how the game is going. Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra is Lotus Cobra. We want mana. We want all the mana that we can make. We want to play as many cards as we can play. And we're just trying to overrun and overwhelm our opponents. Mina and Den Wildborn. Additional land, you can return a land to your hand for red and a green to give a target creature trample to end the turn. We're definitely going to be using this ability. I haven't played the card yet in any of our games, but I know this would be very, very valuable, especially being to play additional cards per turn and then just replaying those lands. We just want the value, straight value. Remnant Excavator, of course, play lands from the graveyard. Radia, Summoner of Mist, landfall. Whenever land you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Now, this deck, this card specifically has left me on the fence with it. There has been some times I've been able to just push and empty out my whole hand. But then if I play a land, I have to be able to discard a card in order to draw a card. So it's a landfall card, yes. The summon ability, we're never going to run it in this list. Is it good? Maybe if you put a few sagas in the deck. But if not, you might can make room and cut this and put something else in. Sable Tender. Landfall. Reach. 2/1. Whenever land you control enters, this creature does 1 damage to each opponent. Get some small damage in, get some multiple triggers to play in lands. And the damage can definitely add up. Tatiova, we all know what it does. Gains us of life, draws us a card. We love it. Thalia and the Gitrog monster. Card is pretty good because we do want to sack some of our lands off just to get some reoccursion from some of our cards that play lands from the graveyard. As you play an additional land each turn, creatures and non-basic lands your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. So we do get some stack effects from this guy. And then, of course, whenever it attacks, sack a creature or land, then draw a card. We're always, almost 98% of the time, we're always going to sack a land, draw a card, because we have enough recursion in the deck to get lands back. Necrobloom. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 0/1 green plant token. If you control 7 or more lands with different names, which we will, you're going to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token instead, and it gives land cards in your graveyard dredge too, which means you may return a land from your graveyard to your hand, mill 2 cards instead of drawing a card. We don't mind that at all. And putting bodies on the board, we definitely rock with it. Tireless Provisioner, landfall, whenever a land enters, create a food or a treasure. 9 times out of 10, we're going to be making a treasure. There might be some games that we do make a couple of foods, but you want the mana from this. Tireless Tracker, make a clue. We can crack them in the turn, draw some cards, get some value. Traveling Chocobo. Look at that top card at any time. May play a land or cast birds from the top of your library. And if a land or bird you control enters battlefield, calls a triggered ability of a permanent you control, it triggers an additional time. So we want those, we want to double dip on the landfall triggers of all our landfall creatures and mechanics that we have. Wayward Swordtooth lets us play an additional land. He's a good solid body because we do ramp out a lot of lands in here. And as long as you have Ascend, you know, you get value from him. He can't attack or block unless you have City's Blessing. But honestly, it's not going to be hard to do in this deck. And then last creature that really contributes to our landfall is Zell Dench. and he lets you play an additional land each of your turns. He gets +1/+0 for each land you control, so he can actually get really, really big. And at the beginning of your end step, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Now, there are some lands in here that you can very well get a lot of value from, but we'll let you kind of go through and mess with some of those cards. All right, so we're gonna go through some of our dig spells real quick that can really get the engine rolling, really dig for the lands that we need. The card that I found was Adventurous Impulse. This card, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest of the bottom in order. For 1 green to look at the top 3 of a deck that runs 40 lands and 30 plus creatures, chances are you're gonna hit one or the other. So I think this card is just straight value for us. Community Beavers. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or land from among them, put in your hand, put the rest at the bottom. Another way to just dig, pull pieces out that you need, and go crazy with it. Growth Spiral, draw a card, play additional land from your hand. You can do that in step, and it's someone else's turn. Always going to be a value card in a lands matter deck. Found this card, Joint Exploration. 1 in the blue for a kicker of green. Scry 2, then draw a card. If this spell was kicked, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Now, the good thing about this is it says a land card, and it says onto the battlefield. It doesn't say tapped. So for 3 mana, even though the kicker is specific, you're going to be fine. This card can definitely get you some great value. Look at 2 cards, ship them where you want them to go, and then get your value. Ulches here, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Now, this card's not super bad. For 2, it does let you look at the top 4, getting all the lands out of the way into your hand. Putting the rest to the graveyard is not a super big deal because once again, this is a type of deck that we do have some recursion in the deck. MVP. Tempt with Discovery. Search your library for a land card, put it in the battlefield. Each opponent basically has the same option as well. They search for a land, we search for an additional land. Now imagine this card in a pot of 4. Each of them search. You got a land, and then you search 3 more lands, and then you play those lands, and then you have your landfall triggers for each. But then you have a traveling chocobo on board, basically getting double landfall triggers for each land that, can I say, value. And last dig spell, I've always enjoyed this card when it was standard, but so I had to slide it in because I have a foil copy. I just have to do it. Draw 3 cards. I'm gonna play an additional land this turn. Do you need to play it? No, but I'm gonna play it anyway. Got a couple protection spells, and they might not be the ones that you think they are. Got Boar's Charm. Boar's Charm is crazy. If you can fit a Boar's Charm in your colors in your deck, you need to run Boar's Charm. Let's choose 1 for damage target player or planeswalker. It can finish someone off. Permanents you control gain indestructible to end a turn, or target creature gains double strike till end of turn. Can't go wrong with the card. Ink Shield, a little bit different of a spell, but it does give us good value. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Each 1 damage prevented this way. Create a 2/1 white black inkling creature token with flying. Now, you might say, hey, this protection spell might be a little expensive. If you see a few cards in the list, see why we want to run Ink Shield. Plus, it's just a different card. Lightning Greaves, of course, because it's Lightning Greaves. Projectile Commander. And then we have a card, Wrap in Vigor, for 1 and a green. Generate each creature you control. So, I thought the card is good, just because we're super creature heavy in the list. And I think the card's okay. Of course, you can run. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. Heroic Intervention. Run Heroic Intervention here, and cool. But it's a game changer. Want it to be very limited and be a little bit creative on my list. So definitely put Wrap Figure in here. You could always swap it out at any other time. Now we're gonna talk about some tech creatures that we have in here, and I have all of these tags in the deck list. So whenever I put it down in the comments down below and you pull it up, it is going to have it with some different tags than maybe you're used to seeing. But that might help you whenever you see, hey, this particular cards and things you might want to add. You can kind of go to the tags and kind of go from. So the tech creatures, we got Andrix and Nev, twin casters, or two. When one or more tokens will be created under your control, twice that many of tokens are created instead. Now, let's talk about what this does for us. Felidar Retreat, instead of one cat, it gives us two cats. Provisioner, Tracker, two clues, or two treasures, or two foods. Y'all see where we're going there. Also, a card like Avenger Zendikar. Let's say 10 plants. Instead of 10, guess what? There's 20. Y'all see where we're going. Y'all see where we're going. This card is a menace. It has War 2. You're going to have to waste that extra mana just to remove it. And if you do, hey, the job, we've done our job. Wasted removal. Go ahead. Eternal Witness. It's Eternal Witness. Don't even have to talk about it. A spice piece that I did put in here was Iroa's God of Victory. Chances are we're never going to have, where he's never going to be a creature. So 9 times out of 10, he might stick. But he has creatures you control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Basically, menace for all the creatures on your board. And then prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. That's what we want. That will give us more freedom to just swing for the hills. Unless they have Death Touch, we don't have to worry about the damage going. Alright, so Iroa is definitely a tech piece. If you do own a copy or want to proxy a copy, you should do that. Eerie. This card, I found out about it from the Changeling Secret Layers deck. Eerie Talented Sprout. Other plants and tree folk you control get +2/+0. You see, Avenger is in the card. And then at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, return target plant, tree folk, or land card from your graveyard to your hand. So we will be sacking some lands off. So of course we're trying to get some value and get them back to our hand so we can play them again on our next turn coming around. Big plants, incursion of lands, we like that. Hutzel. Yeah, we did it. Hutzel. All right. There's going to be a time that, hey, we want no one interacting with us on the table when we're trying to win the game. No better card than Kutzel. And also, whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, does combat damage to a player, draw a card. We likes this. We likes this. I don't want to be interacted with on my turn. I'm trying to kill somebody. Okay? Well, Drotha, the Gravetide, it is here just to give me options of cards in my graveyard. Creatures will die, lands will be sacked, and it's cool. During your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. Hey, guess what? My Eternal Witness dies. Boo-hoo. I'll get it back. I will cast it to get another piece back out of my yard. Hey, what more can I say? There's many more targets, but we're getting straight value here. Orin Frostfang was an addition because this deck can overrun you. So why not give them all Death Touch when they attack? And then, of course, potentially get some card draw from it as well. Rising Reef, if Rising Reef another elemental enters, because, you know, your commander can make elementals too. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it on the battlefield tapped, but then it'll be untapped, of course. And if you don't put the card on the battlefield, put it into your hand. That's value. What are we talking about? That's just value town. Tival, all right. When he attacks, mill 3, which is cool. May return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. You see what we're doing? We don't mind the lands hitting the graveyard back, and then they'll come back untapped. And then, of course, he's going to make bodies because when one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, which pairs very well with the god Andric. So they give you 2 of them. See what we're getting there. Every card in here works, it gives you synergy. All right. We have Town Greeter. Whenever this creature enters mill 4, you may put a land from among them into your hand. If you put a town into your hand, you gain 2 life. Now, we do run some towns in here. just basically to dig. We want to mill, get a land, and call it a day. We don't necessarily have to get a town, but if we get the extra 2 life, we'll take the extra. And then last but not least, on the tech side of things, we have Yeva, Nature's Herald. Flash, you may cast green creature spell as though they had flash. Now, the majority of all of our creatures are green. So why not? Why not add it? Next up, we're going to talk about some towns that we run. We run 10 total towns in the deck list. I'm pretty sure there's like 24 towns in total from Final Fantasy, but we only run 10 because we don't really care too much. And you'll see the theme, and I'll talk about the theme of the towns when we get to the end. First one, we have it Adventurers Inn. It's a town. It gives us 2 life for colorless. A Lamb and Garden Seed Academy, green and white. You can transform it and flip it. You have Baron. It's blue or red, comes in tap. Capital City can give us a colorless, or you can tap one, add a color, and it has cycling as well. Crossroads Village, and it's tapped as the enters choose a color. You can add 1 mana of the chosen color. Eden, colorless, you can mill 2, sack it off, get a permanent card from your hand for 5. Gungaga, red or green. With a Masalam, Simic colors, starting town, their life, add a color of any color, and then you have Trino, Dark City, and it's a battlefield tap. Now, we ran these specific towns mainly because Adventures Inn gave us some life. Eden can give us a card back, a permanent if we need to, but all the other ones give us options to. We're trying to have our commander out turn 2, so they either tap for blue or right. So that's why we did these towns the way that we did. All right, and the last cards we're gonna talk about the 3 win cons that we have in the deck. If you want to see the rest of the deck, you can also, click in the link down below and have the Moxfield link, and you can look at it yourself. But we're going to talk about the win cons of the deck, and basically give a overview of how it works. So we have Will of the Soul Tie. It is 4 in the green. Choose one if you control your commander. As you cast a spell, you may choose both. Target player mills 3 cards. Put all land cards from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And then it has put X 1/1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of lands you control. It gains trample till end of turn. Now, both of these modes are pretty great for the deck. The biggest thing that we do care about the first mode with target player milling 3 cards and returning all lands back, because we want to try to get as many landfall triggers in a turn as possible. So that's where we would want to go. But putting X 1/1 counters on a target creature and it getting trampled to end a turn is no slouch, because you do have cards like Thalia and the Get Rock Monster. We do have our commander that we can pump and make big, and we also can pump the Hearth Hole as well when it becomes a creature, and push out some massive damage with it too. And also, Genomorph can, when we hit a land, we can always make our commander a 6/6 base, and then pump him, make him huge, give him trample, and then go from there. So cards like Taval will also be very, very good, and then I have Death Touch on swing if Frostfang is on the board. So Will of the Soul Tie is pretty good. Last March of the Ents. Spell can't be countered, so we're getting value from it. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control, then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Now, we do still have some beefy boys here. Hearth Hole, when it becomes a creature, you get some value from it. We also have the Necro Bloom with a toughness of 7. And as we go throughout the game, the booties are going to get bigger. All right. So last much of the Ints is going to make a big impact to draw a lot of cards and a lot of creatures on the board. Last but not least, we're running green, so we had to run Creator Hoof. Now, I wasn't gonna run Creator Hoof at first until my buddy, my brother, good friend of mine, told me, "Hey man, you might as well put Creator Hoof in the." And let me tell you, every time I drop Creator Hoof, the table size, getting plus 12, plus 13, plus 14 easily with a million plants on board, and they all get trampled and death touch. It makes it pretty devastating for the table, to say the least. So if you're running big stompy green, just know you got to put Creator Hoof in the list, and that's why he's in the list as a win con to swing, overwhelm everybody. So this is the deck list. I've enjoyed this deck so much that I had to just go ahead and share with you guys. There's a lot of cards in here that can be changed. There's different landfall packages that you can add because he has 5 colors. But from where it stands, there's maybe one card that I would change in here. That probably would be the Radia. I could find another card to fit in its slot. But as of right now, deck alone, I've enjoyed it, and I'm gonna play it over, and over again, and tweak it. Maybe try to fold it out. At least the lands, the other lands that I run that I haven't shared with you guys. Hopefully you enjoy those things. But what do you think about the Wandering Minstrel? Do you feel like it was something that you would want to play? Do you feel like my list is a list that you would want to play? Cost wise is $442. You can find alternate arts, things like that. The price may increase, decrease, depends on what you have, what you're willing to spend. But this is just stuff that's in my collection, and can't be more happy with my list now. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. We're at 152 subscribers. By the end of the year, we got to go ahead and make it up to at least 300. This happen. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.